I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, "Please be easy on me." He thought I'm Mike Tyson and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators.
Like, they're suing me for something I didn't do. It's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money.
The fallout just exploded because Jake Paul isn't only dealing with a knockout defeat anymore. He's now facing the threat of a Netflix lawsuit that could blow up his entire boxing venture. And no, this doesn't sound real, but it is. So roll it back for a second, because moments before lawyers got involved, this fight was being marketed as the ultimate credibility test of his career. Instead, that same night may have ripped the curtain back on shaky contracts, bruised egos, and a business strategy fueled more by hype than actual control.
I heard that Gervonta Davis was being very difficult to work with and Netflix was just waiting for a read.
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA, and I think the recovery time from the...
Jake Paul being dragged into a legal fight with Netflix isn't some side note or conspiracy add-on. It's what happens when a billion-dollar platform bets on unpredictability and ends up with outright disorder. You could sense it the second the Joshua bout wrapped up, because this wasn't sold as influencer chaos. It was packaged as legitimate heavyweight boxing, complete with officials, medical oversight, executives in the building, and a worldwide audience tuned in. And when an operation that large feels exposed or embarrassed, it doesn't clap back online. It responds in court.
Anthony Joshua didn't throw a single straight right hand for 6 rounds.
Look at how quickly everything turned. One moment, Jake steps in with fearless confidence. The branding cranked all the way up, and the next, executives are reportedly questioning how a product they paid top dollar for spiraled into medical scenes and scrap plans. That whiplash is impossible to ignore. And here's the part that should raise eyebrows. There are quiet murmurs that what Netflix thought it was signing up for and what actually unfolded weren't aligned at all. And somewhere in the middle of that gap, someone knows far more than they're letting on.
And not only did you not get knocked out, you dropped and said, "Wow." I was like, wow, that was nice. I was on the ground. I was like, that was a good shot.
Did he surprise you with his power?
To be honest, no, but I mean, he surprised my jaw.
Anthony Joshua didn't simply defeat Jake Paul. He stripped away the guardrails, and once those were gone, every earlier assurance came under intense scrutiny. This wasn't a faded legend or a gimmick matchup. Joshua was a live, dangerous heavyweight in his prime. And the instant Jake shifted from pressing forward to moving defensively, you could sense it. The unease set in quietly, gradually, and there was no turning it back.
Looks like Jake Paul is trying to bait him into something, but he's the one that's hit the canvas twice in this round. Incredible.
This is the moment the gap in experience became impossible to hide. Joshua didn't need to empty the tank or chase chaos. He stayed calm, measured, barely shifting out of a comfortable rhythm. That's what made it unsettling. The risk was managed, not reckless. And when a seasoned champion slows the pace instead of hunting a highlight, it signals total control. He wasn't asking how it would end, only choosing the timing. That choice came in the fifth, sudden and final, like a blade dropping when the moment was right.
I love this shit, and I'm gonna come back and get a world championship belt at some point.
Are you surprised you went 6 rounds with the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. I just got tired, to be honest. Like, it was just so much.
Those 2 knockdowns didn't just put Jake on the canvas. They shattered the illusion. They weren't flukes or wild swings. They came from exhaustion, mounting pressure, and damage adding up round after round. Anyone claiming otherwise is fooling themselves. By the 6th, bravery wasn't the question anymore. Physiology was. And the body never lies, no matter how carefully the image is packaged or protected.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I think I pissed him off. What were you telling him? I was just saying fuck it.
The fractured jaw rewrote the entire story, because you can't joke your way past metal plates, and no caption can undo structural damage. Watching Jake attempt to reframe hospital clips as brand fuel was the exact moment the mood shifted. People could see the difference between confidence that's built and confidence that's leased. And suddenly, this felt like the latter, borrowed from a machine that had finally decided to pull the plug.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck him. Yeah, oh, he's supposed to jump. Yeah? You don't care though. Jake's having a fucking blast. Yeah. We'll see him back again for sure? Yeah.
Here's the pressure point no one wants to address yet. Netflix didn't just watch a single event fall apart. They allegedly watched an entire roadmap collapse. The scrapped Gervonta Davis fight wasn't gossip. It was logistics, promotion, sponsor money, and forecasts already locked into place. And when something that embedded gets shut down from one side, corporations don't label it a lifestyle decision. They label it a violation.
Now, you asked me a question. Look, it wasn't the best performance. It wasn't the best. The end goal was to get Jake Paul, pin him down, and hurt him. That has been the request.
A $100 million lawsuit doesn't come from misunderstanding or bad timing. It comes from anger leverage, and one word that changes everything: willful. That word is radioactive in contract law. Willful means intent. It means you understood the consequences and moved forward anyway. And if that's proven, this doesn't just bruise Jake Paul's image, it stains it permanently. Because promoters don't just look at wins and losses, they look at reliability. Trust is currency at the highest level of boxing. And once that trust is questioned, doors don't slam loudly. They close quietly, behind the scenes, and they stay closed.
Thank you very much. I'm here with the winner, Anthony Joshua. Anthony, congratulations on the win. How would you describe that fight?
Well, first of all, I want to give love to the crowd, everyone that came out. I really do appreciate everyone in this venue.
Ask yourself this, seriously, why would a powerhouse like Netflix risk burning a partnership that was printing money unless something went badly off script behind the scenes? That kind of fallout doesn't happen by accident. One moment there were smiles, hype, and promotion. The next, everything froze. The conversation stopped being about punches and suddenly turned into contracts, clauses, and consequences. And when lawyers step in and paperwork replaces gloves, the damage has already been done. At that point, the real loss isn't the ring anymore. It's already been decided.
Because it's a civil lawsuit and it's just allegations. It's not criminal. So there must be something.
This is where the real long-term damage sets in. Taking a loss to Anthony Joshua was something the brand could absorb. But losing the trust of major platforms is far more dangerous. That kind of fallout doesn't make noise. Sponsors don't rage publicly. They disappear. Calls stop getting returned. Negotiations grow distant, colder, and far more unforgiving. Once an athlete or promoter earns a reputation for being unpredictable or unreliable, it sticks. Hype can't erase it. Numbers can't drown it out. And no matter how loud the fan base gets, that quiet hesitation behind closed doors is what truly reshapes a career.
Jake Paul, he's done really well tonight. I want to give him his props. He got up time and time again. It was difficult in there for him, but he kept on trying to find a way.
Another detail that won't stop lingering is how composed Joshua appeared afterward. Calm victors don't feel endangered, and people who aren't threatened don't reach for lawsuits. They walk away and let it fade. But that's not what happened here. Netflix didn't shrug and move forward. They doubled down and escalated. That reaction points to something deeper than bruised pride. It suggests authority slipping, expectations unraveling, and a rush to regain control before more uncomfortable details had a chance to surface.
I don't like it. Even Anthony Joshua had some class and, apologized to me.
Did he really?
Yeah. He worked his way through the crowd and came up to me and said, "Mom, it's just boxing.
He said it's the fight game.
It's just the fight game."
I'm obviously...
And don't overlook the quiet noise around other fighters being labeled difficult. When multiple names start surfacing in the same breath, it usually signals contracts stretched thin long before the public noticed. One rupture doesn't happen in isolation. It exposes stress everywhere. And once a single deal cracks, every other agreement gets re-examined word by word, line by line, as companies scramble to protect themselves. The unsettling part is that this story doesn't feel close to resolution. Legal battles don't end cleanly. Discovery is ugly. Emails surface. Texts resurface. Internal conversations that were never meant to be seen suddenly become evidence. And when that happens, carefully built narratives collapse fast. If Jake believes this ends with headlines, he's misreading the moment. This could get far messier before it ever goes quiet. Sit with that discomfort for a second, because the fight didn't truly end in round 6. It simply changed locations. The pressure isn't coming from a heavyweight punch anymore. It's coming from corporate memory and legal force. And those don't tire out. They grind steadily until something gives. It doesn't feel like we've seen the final fracture yet. What really settles in is the realization that the Joshua fight itself wasn't the core issue. It was the trigger. Systems don't implode from a single blow unless they were already under strain. And everything surrounding Jake Paul's boxing operation had been pulled tight for a long time before that night arrived. The tension running through all of this is a gap between confidence and competence. Confidence sells tickets. It generates clicks. But competence is what keeps partners comfortable. The moment Joshua exposed that gap, stakeholders stopped dreaming about upside and started calculating liability. There's a crucial distinction between losing a sporting contest and derailing a corporate roadmap. Fighters lose all the time. But when a fighter becomes a central pillar of a platform strategy, personal choices suddenly carry institutional consequences. Netflix didn't enter boxing for chaos or vibes. They entered for scale, structure, and predictability. Betting on volatility only works when it stays contained inside the ropes, not when it spills into contracts, scheduling, and advertiser trust. What sharpens this moment even further is how Jake was positioned. He wasn't framed as a curiosity or a gamble. He was presented as a cornerstone, a bridge between traditional boxing and modern audiences. And when a bridge collapses, no one reminisces about how exciting it looked while standing. The Joshua bout shattered the belief that preparation alone could control outcomes. But the lawsuit threatens something deeper, the illusion that narratives can always be managed after the fact. Legal proceedings don't care about spin. Once attorneys take over, everything slows down. And in combat sports, momentum is everything. Fighters need certainty. Promoters need timelines. Audiences need belief. Another uncomfortable truth is that wealth can delay self-reflection, and delayed consequences create repeated risk. Joshua represented the athletic ceiling. Netflix represents the commercial ceiling. Hitting both back-to-back forces a reckoning that can't be solved with bravado or branding. There's also a shift happening in how crossover boxing is viewed. Fans are beginning to separate novelty from legitimacy more clearly. And once that line hardens, it becomes harder to blur again. Notice how quickly the conversation changed. It moved from debating Jake's courage to questioning his reliability. Courage is debatable. Reliability isn't. You either deliver or you don't. The lawsuit reframes the Joshua loss as part of a pattern, not an anomaly. And corporations respond to patterns, not excuses. This saga also exposes how little flexibility exists once operations scale. What feels like independence at a small level reads as recklessness when hundreds of millions are involved. Influence amplifies mistakes as much as success, and the higher you climb, the less tolerance there is for unpredictability. Jake's brand was built on disruption, but disruption without structure eventually frightens the very partners who enabled it. That's the paradox he's facing now that boxing's business side has a long memory. Reputations aren't shaped only in the ring. They're shaped in boardrooms where future fights are quietly decided. Even if the legal situation resolves, perception lingers. Promoters don't forget who complicated their lives when alternatives exist. What makes this moment feel unfinished is that it sits at the crossroads of sport, entertainment, and corporate power. Those intersections rarely end cleanly. The next move Jake makes will matter more than any interview or post, because it will reveal whether he understands the scale of what he's facing now, or whether he still believes noise can replace trust.